Okay, hello Sherry. I think I figured something out with respect to my recording. Um, First of all, before it was mixed so badly that when I realized when I was speaking, you could hardly hear my voice because of the sound of the engines of the car and the noises the cars make, muffled out, pretty much drowned out everything I was saying, unless there was a certain portion of the track where they didn't make as much noise. And you probably realized that the first time. Now what I'm doing, and I tried this before, but apparently I was doing something wrong. I have a button on my keyboard that I depress when I speak, so that way I'm not. Well, first of all, I adjusted the sound properly, but what I had to do originally was turn up my voice real loud and turn down the noise of the background noises of the track. But the problem with that worked okay, but the problem with that was after I recorded a second time and I thought everything would be fine, I realized that you could actually hear me breathing or something, which I don't know how that's possible. It sounded like I was on a respirator or sitting here in scuba diving equipment or something. It's like, what the heck? And that was really, I was just going to ask you to just deal with it, and I just decided I'm gonna do it over because that I couldn't even listen to that. It was terrible. um, so yeah, so somehow I was able to pick up my breathing. You'd think I was sitting here with emphysema or something. I'm not that far gone. But anyway, I was gonna give you a rundown on with the league, what's going on. I got a message when I came back from Florida that the league owner, Skylar Allen, has had some medical issues, and he sent out a message that Friday night's races would no longer be broadcast and Saturdays would, although last night's race wasn't broadcast. So I don't know if the fields are thinning out because of that. Um, it could be sometimes some people don't like to run these road courses, so they take a provisional and they don't take a big hit if they take a provisional. I took some provisionals when I was gone, which gives you some points for not showing up for a race, and you only get so many of them per year. So sometimes the fields are small for road courses because some people just aren't real good at road course racing. These guys, after all, they're into stock car racing, and stock cars are meant pretty much for oval racing. That's their history. But they do race on a couple of road courses every year, and we follow the real life NASCAR schedule, both with the Xfinity Series and the Monster Cup Series. And this week in real life, they're at Watkins Glen International, which is where this track is, Watkins Glen. It's modeled after that same racetrack in New York, upstate New York. And yeah, I was going to get back to Skylar Allen's health issues. Apparently, there's like some sort of an aneurysm that they discovered that's like 7 to 11 millimeters in size, according to the description of what he, sent out that I got in a message. So he's the one that's solely funding the, the financing for the TV programming, which is a huge burden. It's not real expensive to pay for broadcast, but even if it's $25 a broadcast, that's $50 a week. And imagine what that amount. That's over a couple $1,000s a year. We run a lot of races, and he's paying for virtually most all of it, aside from a few contributions. I gave him like $25 last year, but I've been pushing. A month ago, since I've been given position of an admin, which is somebody that if there's penalty points or incidents on track, we review them. And because there's so many, these guys race as teams, and I'm an independent racer. I don't race on a team. I don't have the time to be practicing and all that stuff. I'd rather spend my time doing other things. If I'm on the sim, I'm not gonna spend it worrying about solely on this one race car. I like to do other things. But that aside, I took the position so that if there's an incident involving some team members, I'm the independent voice, and team members can't overlook another team member's incident if there's a couple guys that are in a disagreement with something that happened on track. Um, so sometimes you won't hear it, the communication between drivers, sometimes they're supposed to be kept at a minimum, but it can be distraction, but you don't want to hear it on a broadcast, but sometimes there's some arguing going back and forth at who was fault for an accident and stuff like that. Well, after a race, people are supposed to look at the replays and review it, stuff like that, which is fine. I don't mind it. But I had suggested that we start helping Skyler finance some of this stuff, because even if it's only a couple bucks a week, I mean, that would help him immensely. And most drivers agreed to help fund it, and in a meeting we had. But then I thought Skyler was going to go ahead and start that this year. Well, he said that he's going to wait until next season, which is the next season is next year. So it's unfortunate. He should have just started the funding, asking for the contributions right away, and maybe we wouldn't be in this position. But it's not to say that we can't start trying to do something now. But I haven't heard any communications regarding anything yet. Only bad thing about this pressing the button down thing is my finger is getting sore. So yeah, so the fields are thinning out. I don't know if that's because it's a road course, but I noticed even the last couple of weeks when I was gone, there were some really small fields. But if the races aren't broadcast anymore, I hope they eventually are. I'll continue to race this series as long as at least 10 cars show up every week. I'm not going to race in a series that only puts out 5 or 6, 7 car fields. That would be boring for me, and it would be boring to anyone wanting to watch it, including yourself. I mean, this field here is 13 cars, which is small enough. So I'll continue to do this if you like it, because it's kind of fun for me. I don't mind it, as long as I have the time to do it. Right now I'm kind of okay. So let's see, what was I going to say? Yeah, so I put together these little recaps, and I won't go on and on telling you about what's going on, like boring you with all this stuff. But I'll start the go through the field, and yeah, I'll run about 5-6 laps of the race. It's a 40 lap race, and we pit at about lap 20, about halfway through. When you've got a couple of gallons of fuel left with 20 laps, and then you got just enough fuel to finish the second half of the race out. And then you get tires also. So yeah, I'll replay some laps, but it gets kind of boring. You don't want to watch the whole thing, because all it is first, second, third, and fourth, and then I'm there in third place throughout most of the race, and the excitement actually happens in the pit stops, because there's apparently, I thought I was the only one that was stupid enough not to practice pitting before the race, because some of these guys on teams, I thought they practice all the time on these courses. Maybe they haven't been practicing a lot lately, but I'm surprised more people didn't pick up on this little glitch. Well, on a road course, the wall when you pit is to your right. Well, on an oval track, if you ever notice, the wall is on the driver's side, because you're going, counterclockwise. On this track, you're actually going around clockwise, so the wall is to your right. But in real life, obviously, you can't park your race car too close to the wall, or you can't get pit service, because the jack can't get under the car, and the tire changers can't get room in between the car and the wall to do all this activity, to fuel and change tires in your car. Which is interesting too, because on a oval track, the gas can guy, only stock car racing still has a guy that fills up a car with 2 gigantic 10-gallon tanks of fuel that they add in there. You got to be a big burly guy to hold those things, I'm sure. But most race cars nowadays, that they just throw a high pressure nozzle in the thing, and then have some hydraulic pump just put it in there in like 5 seconds. But this is NASCAR. Um, so yeah, it's interesting because on a road course they have to actually, those guys would have to run around to the other end of the race car to put fuel in it because the fuel tank is on the driver's side. So anyway, when we pit, and I thought it was only me that screwed up. You get too close to the wall, and then there's like, okay, why am my guys are just standing there? They're not servicing my car, and you can't figure out. Okay, I'm losing 2, 3, 4 seconds time in the pits, which means several positions on the racetrack. Well, as it turned out, I found out it was happening to other drivers, which hurt me, but also helped me because Joe Burchett ended up really in the pits for a long time. He was far worse than anyone, from what I could tell. It cost me about 10 seconds. So, yeah, I'll show you when we pit, show you what happens. So that's kind of the most exciting part of the race. And yeah, other than that, and then I'll do the race the next night, which was last night. This was Friday night, and then the Monster Cup Series was Saturday night, and I'll do that after this. Now that I've hopefully got these recording bugs worked out, we'll start this. I'm gonna let go of this button now so I can rest my finger. Okay, so kind of run you through the field. Joe Burchett has pole position, and there's a way to do this without having a bar down below, but it would require me being a keyboard manipulating genius, which I'm not. Better make sure I hit the right button. Okay. Second place, Mark Cohen. Third place, me. And our Mission Able race car, which will have your wheelchair on the side, which maybe I'll show you later. Dylan Vos, who I lost this race to last year actually on a pit stop error by me. We're always real close, all the time, on road courses. Michael Trevarthen, who lives in Florida, near Jody, from what I understand. Lake Hamilton area. Brandon Puffenberger, kind of a cool orange color car there. Blown gasket. That's racing, that's his lead, or his team. Jeff Schmidt. For some reason I went the wrong way. Teammates with Dylan Bowles at Metalhead Motorsports. Kyle Frame, neat race car design. Skylar Allen, league owner, guy with the aneurysm problem. Brian Littleton, Michelob Ultra. David Worrell. And Eric Mensch, who always has a military scheme. He actually served in the military. And this guy was penalized. I like somebody's views, camera views on this racetrack. Behind a fence like that. Looks real. That's where a corner worker would probably be standing. Alright, hopefully sounds okay. I'm in third. Try a different camera view here. I know, so those guys take a little bit different line in that last turn. It's not like they're really that much faster though. There's other areas of the track where I'm faster than them. They're faster than I am. There's a good look at the side of the car. There's, oh, I didn't have the button down, I don't think. You can see, I gotta yeah, there's the wheelchair. Look at them right there. That's a cool car. I like it. I don't like that logo though. It's supposed to be a Roadrunner. But it just didn't turn out real good on the back. But yeah, it's okay. I mean, it depends on how much time you want to put into making these paint jobs. You can't spend that much time. I like the way it looks though. I know you do too. Maybe try a different camera angle. Dylan Bowles lost control of his car there. go inside and see what happened. See if you downshift too low of a gear at too high of a speed, then the rear end locks up. Just like in real life, the cars do that a lot with these kind of cars. So that's probably what happened to him. Yeah, I don't think he meant to drop that gear there. And then, if you spin out like that, your tires get all like super slick. Because in real life, probably it happens where your tires get real hot. And then it takes a while for them to cool down. It's pretty neat the way they program all that stuff into the simulator. And like even the rubber on the track, like you can see, something they incorporated like about a year ago where they actually have little rubber marbles come off the tires. And throughout the course of the race, the track will change. And sometimes it makes it slicker, sometimes it makes it more grip. And like that, see that black there? That's the racing line. Like over a period of the race, it'll get darker and darker. It's so cool. And see if this guy's skid marks are even still on track up here once. Yep, you can see them. See the rubber marks there from the tires? The computer actually remembered that he locked his tires up here and spun, and then there's like, just like in real life, there's skid marks on the racetrack. Isn't that cool? So this is inside of my car. Sitting in the passenger seat going for a ride. Sometimes you gotta use that curbing to get these darn things to turn. Yeah, I don't know, last year I pretty much dominated this race till I had a pit stop error. But I had my shot this year, but these two guys are a little quicker than what was in here last year at this track, so I got my hands full with these two guys. And you know, that Burchett, that darn guy, he's good at road courses too. Sometimes I notice it seems like he's really hard on his tires, and I don't know how he gets away with it. And supposedly there's no way to cheat in the iRacing game. People like to call simulator. They have like anti-cheat software to make sure nobody's ever dabbling in that stuff. But sometimes it makes you wonder, like, how the heck is this guy doing this, you know? They might just be that good. That's all it is. I'm sure that's what it is. There is one factor, though. They may be using real expensive equipment, like their racing wheels and their pedals and all that. I mean, it can get into the thousands of dollars. You can even get where you get, like, you know, motion cockpits and stuff like that. So anyway, we'll change the view here, give you a little rundown of what's going on in the race real quick. And then I'll fast forward to the exciting pit stops. So, same old thing, Joe Burchett up front. Mark Cohen second, me third, and Dylan Bowes fourth. And then fifth, Trevarthen, sixth, Puffenberger. And seventh, Jeff Schmidt. Eighth is Kyle Frame. And here comes Brian Littleton. He's not so good at road course racing. Good oval track racer though. And Skylar Allen. Eric Mensch. Oh, he hates road courses. He's just not very good at them. And neither is this guy. Spurchette. So, I'm in striking distance. I'm not too far out. Nice thing about this button is I just coughed and you didn't have to hear that. Alright, I'll fast forward it, Sherry, to lap 20 when Joe Burchett and Mark Cohen pit. Oh, I gotta show you something that's kind of cool. They programmed this in the simulator also. Watch the tires glow on this car when it brakes, like real life. You know, where the rotors from the brakes heat up the rotors. I mean, the brakes heat up the rotors when you brake. Let me see if I can get a camera angle on it. Yeah, you should be able to see it here. Watch these front rotors glow when he brakes and his turn real hard. Ah, can see it that well. I've got this neat tool. Watch this. Can you see his guy on the side of the car? That's pretty cool. Is that Beetlejuice or something? Now let's watch. I get close up of that tire. See it glow? That's so. Can actually tell how hard someone's using the brakes. Let's see what I do. Alright. Coming in and it turned on here down the bottom of the hill. See, now I hardly use any rotor at all. Let's see if the back one glows. Usually it's only the front, because that's where most of the brake pressure is. Depending on how you set your brakes, you can have more brake pressure in the front or the back. See if either one of them glow. I already passed the turn. It should be right here. Yeah, see, that might be part of the thing. The other cool thing is after a race, like, the car will get dirty. That's kind of neat too. Starts getting rubber built up on it. That's so cool. But let's see what some of these other cars do. I'm curious about something. Okay, now he's coming into this. This is the heaviest braking turn on the track. Right here. See the front rotor glow? No. One of the guys that was broadcasting our races was looking at that at this very track, and he was noticing my brakes hardly glowed at all. So that's why I sometimes I think if you have a good brake pedal set, see if they can actually vibrate some of them and tell you if you're braking like where the limit is, where you start locking the tire up and skidding, because obviously you don't want the tires to skid, or you'll flat spot the tires or overheat them. Well, I think I maybe learned to just be real light on the brakes, and you try to be smoother, and you know, I wonder if that affects some of my time. Because if you can use more brake, obviously you can get into the turn faster. So I might have to look into that sometime. I don't know if any of that makes any sense to you or not, or if you're bored by it, but just thought I'd throw it out there because I just decided to look at that. So I'm going to go ahead and advance this to lap 20 then. Okay, here's the infamous pit stop glitch. Okay, so here the leader comes into the pits, and then the second place guy follows him in. And there I am on the track going by the pits, waving goodbye. See you later. But I got to pit too, obviously. I pit the next lap. Now watch what happens to Joe Burchett here. He's just like, oh man, all confused. What a mess. Coming into his pit stop. Too close to the wall. And he sees he's got problems already. And the other guy's like, what are you backing into me for, dude? And his silliness just goes on for like half a minute at least. This poor guy. If he wasn't winning all the time, I'd almost feel sorry for him. Let's get a close-up of Joe's face if we can. Behind that visor. Oh, he's got that purple visor, and that's kind of a cool visor. I wonder where he got that from. Check that out, you can see his nose. Oh, he looks angry. There's fire coming out of his nostrils. Hey everybody, wave to mom. Put a microphone up to his face. Hey Joe, stick it under that helmet. How was that last pit stop there where you came in first place and came out in like 7th? What's going through your head right now? What are your emotions? How do you feel about that? You know, you can't park too close to that wall or your guys can't get the jack under your car. I shouldn't do this. So, it happened to me too. Let's see. There's my helmet. I like my helmet, but where's he get that cool tint? That purple tint. Let's go back to my pit stop. Okay, I'm coming in. Uh-oh. How come my guys aren't giving me fuel or tires? What's going on here? Get to work. Come on, man. The heck do I pay you for? Jeez, couldn't you have picked the car up by your hands or something? And I'm thinking I'm going to come out in 5th place until I realize the same thing happened to Dylan. So, after it all works itself out, and I don't know how many drivers that happened to, but Burchett took the biggest hit. That car looked like it got a little loose there, notice. Yeah, it did. Look at the wind flapping the window net. So I'll give you a rundown, Cherry, and this pathetic thing called a race here. So, after all that, in first place, Mark L. Cohen. It's not too often you see a guy put their middle initial in their name. Wonder if that's Larry. Mark Larry. So, Mark Larry bouncing over the turns through the bus stop, they call it, and heading to the carousel turn. I don't make those names up, that's what they call it. And jump up crew, that's me going through the carousel turn. And I had more time in the pits than did Mark Larry Cohen. So it hurt me more than him, and he came out 15 seconds in front of me, and I ended the race 13 seconds behind him. So I was as fast as he was, but I just could never catch him. But I'll take second. I didn't deserve second anyway, because Joe Purple visor helmet guy had big issues. Purple Haze, Mr. Purple Haze, Mark Burchett. So I'm at second. Oh, that guy's got some fender damage. Wonder what happened. I should try to look for that. Ah, it ain't worth it. I don't know where he had it happen. Who cares? That's the end of the race, Sherry. I'll go to the end. Woohoo! Brought the mission able. Chevrolet to second place. What a beautiful race car. Brought it home in one piece. I don't think I had any incidents.
Alright, Joe, come on, chase tomorrow night. We're gonna do 10 more laps tomorrow night.
Cool.
Coming out? Mark, again, congrats on the win, buddy. Dylan, what happened? You thought for sure I'd lose third place to you when I pitted.
I screwed up my pit stop like everybody else. I was out there for 20, so I just kind of get the thing in there.
Too close to the wall?
10. 10-4. But you were way faster than me anyway.
Yeah, I don't know if I'd had anything for Mark anyway, but when I came out of there, I held the 10 seconds he had on me, but he ended up a second or two quicker than me. I probably didn't have anything for him either. But yeah, that was pretty frustrating, man. But I'm just looking at the flag, and I'm like, oh, that's just the right distance, you know? And all of a sudden, what the hell? I'm not getting pit service? What the hell's going on here?
Yeah.
Yeah, at least I wasn't the only one. I don't know if you remember or not, Dylan, but I lost this race to you last year. I got second. I think it was you anyway. Well, it's a good race. See you guys tomorrow night.
Yeah, he didn't sound too happy. That was funny. See you, Sherry. Love you.
Good racing, guys.
Yeah, good racing you too.
Thanks, Brennan.